Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. There comes a point in a woman's life when everything she thought was steady starts to tremble. The people she once trusted begin to drift away. The places that once felt like home now seem unfamiliar. Suddenly she stands in the midst of uncertainty, wondering why this is happening. But I need you to hear this clearly. This is not the end. No, this is the moment right before growth and elevation. Because when God is getting ready to bless a woman with something significant, He doesn't do it silently. He causes a shift so loud, so powerful, that she has no choice but to notice. If you've been feeling confused, like you're losing more than you're gaining, or if there's a fire inside you, but you don't yet know where it's taking you, then sister, sit up and pay attention. Because God is moving in your life. And when He moves, He shifts things in a way that leaves nothing the same. Now let's reflect on the signs that show a woman her blessing is closer than she realizes. Before God places something major into her life, He first prepares her. And He doesn't prepare her through ease. He does it through tests, challenges, and pressure. You don't just wake up one morning with unwavering faith. No, that type of faith is shaped, it's formed in those hard moments when everything is falling apart, and trusting God is the only thing left. It's shaped when the bills keep piling up and you have no idea how you'll cover them, yet you still believe. It's shaped when people you deeply love turn away from you, and all you have is God to lean on. It's built when the enemy whispers, you won't make it. But you stand tall and say, yes, I will. Every strong woman you admire didn't gain her strength from a smooth path. She gained it because life challenged her. She walked through fire and didn't let it burn her down. When the weight of life pressed on her, she rose. But here's the key. The storm doesn't mean God has forgotten you. It's proof that He's shaping you. What He is about to give you is too important for the woman you used to be. He needs to make you into the woman who can handle the blessing. He needs to strengthen you. So when the doors open, you don't just step in, you walk in with confidence. So if right now feels like everything is upside down, if you're being stretched in every direction, know this, you are closer than you realize. God is removing everything that cannot go with you into this new season. He's clearing out the noise. He's cutting off connections that would slow you down. He's letting you feel the discomfort so you won't settle where you are. Because if you get too comfortable, you won't move into where He's calling you. Think about Joseph. God gave him a dream of greatness, but before he got to the palace, he had to go through the pit. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly accused, and thrown into prison. But every one of those struggles mattered. The man who stood before Pharaoh wasn't the same boy who wore the coat of many colors. Joseph had been refined. He had grown strong. And when his time came, he wasn't just willing, he was ready. That's exactly what's happening in your life. The pain isn't meant to break you. It's building you. That betrayal, it's showing you who really belongs in your circle. That delay, it's teaching you to wait with purpose. That loss, it's creating space for something better. That challenge, it's sharpening your trust. And here's something to remember. The enemy only comes hard against what he fears. If you weren't carrying something powerful, he wouldn't be fighting you like this. If you weren't near your breakthrough, he wouldn't be trying so hard to wear you down. That's why now is the time to stay grounded. Push forward. Because what's coming is greater than anything you've seen. And when it gets here, you'll look back at this season and say, it didn't ruin me. So don't quit now. Don't give up hope. Don't let the enemy tell you it's over. Because God is about to move so clearly in your life that even those who doubted you will say, only God could have done that. And when that day comes, you'll understand the storm wasn't punishment, it was preparation. When God gets ready to bless a woman with something powerful, He doesn't just drop it in her lap. He gets her ready. And sometimes that preparation includes separation. He removes people, places, and things that no longer fit where she's going. And that's the hard part. Because as humans, we like what's familiar. We hold on to relationships not because they're healthy, but because they're what we know. We stay in environments that limit us because the unknown seems too scary. We keep repeating old habits, clinging to old thoughts, staying stuck in past versions of ourselves because change feels too risky. But when God is preparing to raise a woman up, He won't let her stay stuck. He begins to pull her away. People who used to be close may begin acting different. Conversations that once brought joy now seem shallow. Friends who once supported you now grow distant or even envious. Relationships you thought would last forever begin to break. And you're left wondering, why is this happening? But what if I told you this separation isn't a loss? It's a blessing. What if it's not God taking people from you, but making space for the ones you need? What if this uncomfortable moment is really God stretching you, preparing you, positioning you for something bigger? Some folks were right for your past, but not your future. They were good for your last level, but they can't go where you're headed. Some people loved you when you were struggling. Some stayed around because they were needed. But when God begins to lift you, when you start growing, walking in your calling, their true hearts show. And then you face a choice. Will you try to hold on to what God is gently removing? Or will you trust His hand and let go? You can fight for friendships that no longer fit, or you can release them and open yourself to divine connections. You can cry over closed doors, or get ready for new ones. Look at Abraham. God told him to leave everything familiar, his land, his people, his home, and follow him to an unknown place. God didn't even give him all the details. He just said, go. And Abraham obeyed. What if Abraham had said, no, I'm comfortable here. I know this place. I don't want to leave. He would have missed the entire plan God had for him. And that's the same risk we take when we hold on to what's already behind us. We settle in what's known, but that comfort zone might be our cage. The truth is, if some people hadn't left your life, you wouldn't have grown. If certain doors hadn't closed, you wouldn't have found the right ones. If God hadn't removed some things, you wouldn't have had room for what He's about to give. So when you feel things shifting, when people walk away, when familiar places lose their meaning, don't panic. Trust that God is clearing your path. Trust that He's cutting away what's not needed. Trust that He's not taking something from you. He's preparing to give you more. Because when God blesses a woman, He doesn't just add to her life. He clears the clutter first. He creates space for something beyond what she imagined. And if you can survive the loneliness of that transition, you'll step into the beauty of the elevation. Don't chase after what God is removing. Don't mourn what He's exchanging. Your next chapter is bigger than your last comfort. Let go. Trust the path. Get ready. Because when God pulls you aside, it's never for less. It's always for more. There comes a powerful moment in a woman's life when she feels something inside begin to shift. She can't fully explain it, but deep within, she senses change coming. It's not just a passing emotion. It's a solid, undeniable stir in her soul. She wakes up feeling different, What once made her happy no longer satisfies. Conversations that used to excite her now feel flat. Places she used to love now feel strange. The whole atmosphere around her seems to be changing. And she stands in the middle of it, trying to understand what's happening. This isn't random. It's not just a passing season. It's God whispering, "Get ready!" God always begins his work in the spirit before it shows up in the natural. Long before the blessing appears in a woman's life, she feels it rising inside. It shows up as restlessness, a quiet knowing, a spiritual nudge saying, "Prepare yourself." And in that moment, doubt tries to sneak in. She asks, "Am I imagining this? Is anything really changing?" Because from the outside, everything looks the same. The struggles remain. The mountains still stand. The dream still feels far away. But deep in her spirit, she knows. She knows that something is different. She knows this life she's been living isn't all there is. She knows what's ahead is greater than what's behind. That she is being pulled toward more. This is how God speaks. He plants a quiet hope, a deep sense of expectation in her spirit before the blessing ever arrives. He doesn't always give her all the details, but he gives her a deep feeling, a holy stirring that's impossible to ignore. And in that moment, she has a decision to make. She can either embrace it, lean into it, and get herself ready for what's ahead, or she can dismiss it, question it, and talk herself out of what God is trying to do. This is why faith matters so much. Because when God is moving, he doesn't always bring visible signs. He doesn't always provide instant results. Sometimes the only thing he gives her is that inner feeling, that quiet shift in her soul, that still, small voice saying, "Stay ready." And if she's not careful, she'll overlook it. She'll convince herself that nothing's really happening. She'll let fear talk her into staying where she is instead of stepping into the place she's being called. But the women who receive the biggest blessings, the most powerful breakthroughs, the kind of favor they never imagined, those are the women who listen to the stirring. They're the ones who recognize when God is speaking, even when their circumstances don't add up. They don't wait until they see results before they prepare. They begin walking in faith, trusting that if God is stirring their hearts, then he's about to make a move. Think about Noah. God told him to build an ark when there wasn't a cloud in the sky. The sun was out, the weather was peaceful, but in his spirit, Noah knew what God had said. And because he trusted that feeling, because he moved with what God was doing in him, he was ready when the rain came. That's exactly what God is asking of you. You might not see the blessing yet, but you feel it. You may not understand the full picture, but something inside of you is shifting. You may not know the time or day it's coming, but deep down, you know it's on the way. It's not your imagination. That's preparation. So what do you do when you feel that stirring? You begin preparing. You pray with greater focus. You move as if the blessing is already in motion. You remove distractions. You surround yourself with people who match your future, not just your past. You stop spending energy on things that don't align with where God is taking you. Because the last thing you want is for the blessing to arrive and for you to be unprepared. God doesn't release increase to people who aren't ready to manage it. He doesn't open new doors for those still holding on to what's behind them. He blesses the ones who expect it, who prepare for it, who position themselves for what's next. So if your spirit feels like something big is coming, don't ignore that. Don't brush it off. Don't wait for things to look perfect before you start getting ready. Believe in what God is doing within you. Believe that he wouldn't stir your heart without a reason. Because when a woman feels that deep knowing, that solid expectation, that holy restlessness, it means she's standing right on the edge of something greater. All she has to do is be ready. When God is about to bless a woman in a big way, He doesn't just give her a dream. He begins to open doors she never imagined. Suddenly, chances start appearing, opportunities she didn't even look for, connections show up, resources fall into place, and unexpected favor surrounds her. It's not coincidence, it's not chance, it's divine timing. At first, those doors might seem too good to be true. She might hesitate, wondering if she's actually ready, because she's spent so long praying, waiting, believing, working hard, holding on to faith when everything seemed still. And now, all of a sudden, things are happening. People are reaching out, answers are showing up. But here's the thing, when God opens a door, He expects her to walk through it. He didn't create those opportunities to tease her. He brought them because He knows she's prepared. Even if she doesn't feel like it, even if she doubts her skills, her knowledge, her background, God would not have opened the door if she wasn't ready to step into it. Too often women pray for a door to open, and when it does, they freeze. They start to doubt themselves. They wonder if they can really handle it. They let fear tell them, not yet. Or maybe someone else could do it better. But when God sends the opportunity, it's because He already knows she's capable. It's because He sees what she may not see in herself yet. Think about Esther. She was a young woman with no royal history, no influence, yet God positioned her as queen. The opportunity came, but she still had to walk through it. She had to believe in what God was doing. She had to rise up, take her place, and trust that He placed her there for a purpose. And because she did, a whole nation was saved. This is how God works. He doesn't just give you the vision, He gives you the path. He sends the right people, He arranges the right circumstances, He makes sure the timing aligns. Everything you need is placed before you, but you have to see it for what it is and step forward. Sometimes the opportunity doesn't look how you expected. It might show up as more responsibility, a new challenge, or something small that doesn't look like a blessing at first. But God doesn't always use big signs. Sometimes He wraps His blessings in everyday things that require eyes of faith to recognize. Maybe it's a job that doesn't seem perfect, but it's a path to something greater. Maybe it's an invite to speak, lead, or show up in a way you never have before. Maybe it's a person who sees potential in you that you haven't seen in yourself yet. Don't ignore these things. Don't miss what looks small. Because sometimes what seems like a little door is actually the entrance to something beyond your imagination. And here's another truth. Opportunities carry weight. When God opens a door, He expects you to walk through it with integrity, to bring your full effort, to treat the moment like it matters, because when blessings are not respected, they don't last. A woman who sees her opportunity as a gift from God doesn't waste time doubting. She doesn't shrink back. She moves forward with courage, knowing that if God led her to it, He'll carry her through it. But the enemy knows this too. That's why the moment she's close to her breakthrough, fear shows up, whispering lies like, "You're not good enough," or "What if you fail?" or "What will people say?" The enemy wants her to back down because he knows if she walks through that door, she will become unstoppable. That's when faith becomes everything. She must believe that what is meant for her can't be taken away. She must trust that if God made a path, then the path is safe. She must move, even with shaky hands, even if her voice trembles. Because courage doesn't mean the fear is gone. It means she moves anyway. So when unexpected doors begin to open, when blessings start flowing in ways she can't explain, when everything starts aligning, know this: it's not by chance. It's God saying, now is the time. and all she has to do is walk forward. When God is ready to bless a woman with something powerful, she'll begin to notice things accelerating. What once felt stuck will begin to shift. What seemed delayed will start speeding up. Doors she thought were locked will swing wide open. Opportunities she thought were distant will suddenly be within reach. This pace is not random, it's divine. It's the result of everything God has been arranging behind the scenes. It might feel fast, but it's right on time. It's the result of every tear, every prayer, every lesson, every step of obedience. But here's what she needs to remember. Acceleration comes with responsibility. When things begin to move quickly, she has to be willing to let go of old habits, old mindsets, and even old dreams that don't fit her new season. What's coming won't match the life she's been used to. It will require her to elevate. It will ask her to move with confidence, not fear. This new pace might feel overwhelming. She may feel like she's barely keeping up, like she has no room to catch her breath. But that's because she's been waiting so long, she's become used to the delay. She's learned how to survive in the silence. But now God is saying, no more delay, no more waiting, it's time. This is where trust becomes essential. She has to trust that if God is moving fast, it's because she's finally ready. She might not feel ready, but God doesn't move based on feelings, He moves based on purpose. He wouldn't speed things up if she wasn't prepared. He wouldn't open the door if she wasn't equipped. He wouldn't deliver the blessing if she wasn't strong enough to hold it. Think about David. One moment he was tending sheep, the next he was standing before a giant. In what felt like a blink, he went from being unknown to being praised across the land. When acceleration happens, it often doesn't come with a warning. It shifts everything fast, and that can feel unfamiliar, even scary. But a woman who's been in the waiting room of life knows how to be patient. Now she just has to learn how to move, because the season has changed. And when God says, it's time, the only thing left to do is step into it. And that's when things start moving fast. The job offer shows up unexpectedly. The financial shift happens overnight. The relationship she thought would take years to heal is restored in a moment. The business that once seemed slow and uncertain suddenly gains momentum. And she must be ready to move with it. Acceleration calls for action. When God speeds things up, she can't afford to freeze. She can't sit around trying to figure out every detail, waiting until everything makes perfect sense. She has to act. She has to step into the opportunity. She has to accept the blessing without questioning if she's worthy of it. This is where many women miss their moment. They pray for things to happen quickly, but when it starts happening, they hesitate, they doubt themselves, they cling to the familiar because it feels safe. But acceleration doesn't wait for comfort, it requires courage. When God says move, she has to move. That means if the relationship she prayed for suddenly enters her life, she must be emotionally ready to receive it. If the career breakthrough she's been believing for finally appears, she must walk into it with boldness. If the door she's been knocking on for years finally swings open, she must stop doubting and walk through it. Here's something else about acceleration. It comes with pressure. The faster things move, the more responsibility she will carry. The enemy will try to convince her she's not strong enough to handle the pace. But what she needs to know is that God never speeds things up without giving her the grace to manage it. Think about Joseph. He spent years in prison, forgotten and ignored, but when his time came, things shifted fast. In one day, he went from being a prisoner to becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt. He had no time to pause or second guess. He had to walk into his purpose right then and there, trusting that if God brought him to that place, God would keep him in it. And that's exactly how God works with every woman. He accelerates. If she finds herself in a season where things are moving quickly, where doors are opening one after another, where the impossible is happening day after day, she must understand this isn't just her doing. This is divine timing. This is God saying, you've been faithful, you waited, now it's your time. So what should she do? She must adjust. She must match God's pace, not the pace of fear. She must welcome the change instead of resisting it. She must release hesitation, stop overthinking, and silence the voice of self-doubt. Because if she tries to hold on to what was while stepping into what is, she'll feel torn. But if she trusts the speed of God, if she lets go and moves with Him, she'll see a breakthrough that doesn't just shift her situation, it transforms her entire life. So if things are happening fast, if doors are flying open, if the change feels intense, she must not worry. She must not shrink back. She must not let fear convince her she's not ready. The truth is, she is ready. That's why God is moving the way He is. That's why the pace has changed. That's why things that used to take years are now unfolding in weeks, days, or even hours. When a woman is on the edge of stepping into her God-ordained season, delay is removed, obstacles fall away, and divine acceleration steps in. And when that happens, she has to do one thing: keep up with God's timing. When God is about to bless a woman with something major, she'll notice that certain people begin to leave her life. It won't always make sense. Some will walk away without saying a word. Some will grow distant for reasons she doesn't understand. Others will start acting different, clearly showing they're not meant to be part of her next chapter. This can hurt. She might question what went wrong. She might wonder why relationships she thought were strong are now fading. She may try to fix it, try to hold on, try to make them stay. But she must realize this: when God is shifting her into a new season, He removes those who... Not everyone is built for where God is taking her. Not everyone can celebrate her upcoming blessings. Some people were only supposed to walk with her for a short season, not the full journey. And when their time is up, God allows the separation not to punish her, because here's the truth: some connections are silently holding her back. Some relationships have been draining her energy. Some friendships have kept her stuck in places where she was meant to grow. Some voices in her life have been guiding her away from God's plan. So when God begins to lift her higher, He cuts the cords, even when she doesn't feel ready to let go. It's not always because those people are bad. Some of them are kind-hearted. Some genuinely care, but they aren't meant to be in her next level. Some don't have the strength, the wisdom, or the spiritual maturity to walk with her into this new place. Some were assigned to the woman she was, not the one she is becoming. Think about Abraham. When God called him to a new land, He didn't tell him to bring everyone. He told him to leave the familiar, to part ways with certain people, and to trust Him on the journey. Why? Because elevation often requires separation. The very people she's trying to carry might be the ones stopping her from stepping fully into what God has for her. This is where many women get stuck. They try to take everyone along. They explain themselves. They try to make others understand their growth. But the reality is, not everyone will get it. Some will question it. Some will resist it. Some will even try to stop it. That's why discernment is vital. She must be able to see when a relationship is ending for a divine reason. She must believe that when people start fading away, it's not rejection. It's redirection. It's God making space for what's better. Because what's coming will demand more clarity, more faith, more strength, and she can't be surrounded by people who will distract, discourage, or drain her. She needs people who will lift her, not pull her down. People who will pray with her, not prey on her. People who will celebrate her, not secretly compete. And here's something else. Sometimes God will remove people before the blessing shows up. She may not understand the loss until later. She may not realize why someone left until she steps into the next season and sees what God was shielding her from. Some would have misused her blessing. Some would have tried to take from her. Some would have brought confusion, jealousy, or negativity just when she was about to step into her breakthrough. So instead of fighting the separation, she must surrender to it. Instead of chasing after what's leaving, she must release it with peace. Instead of begging people to stay, she must trust that if they were meant to be there, they wouldn't have walked away. Even Jesus went through this. As he prepared for his greatest assignment, some of his closest companions abandoned him. Did he run after them? No. Did he try to explain? No. He knew his purpose wasn't tied to their approval, and neither is hers. The right people will stay. The right people will see what God is doing in her. The right people won't feel threatened by her growth. They'll honor it. They won't drain her. They'll pour into her. They won't hold her back. They'll push her forward. So if she's in a season where people are walking away, where certain friendships are dissolving, where relationships feel distant, she must not panic. She must not beg anyone to remain. She must not shrink herself just to make others stay. She must trust that God is pruning her life so that she can flourish. He is removing what no longer fits so she can step into what is truly meant for her. He's making room for deeper purpose, for the people who will walk with her, pray for her, and grow beside her. Because the woman she's becoming cannot be surrounded by the same crowd, the same habits, the same energy. She is rising higher, and to rise, she must release. So let him go. Let him leave with grace. Trust that God knows what he's doing. The ones meant for her next chapter will be there. The ones meant only for past pages have served their purpose. And once she understands this, once she truly embraces it, she'll stop grieving what's gone and start rejoicing for what's coming. So let me ask you, can you see the signs? Is the storm raging? Are people exiting? Is your heart unsettled? Are doors swinging open? Are spiritual attacks increasing? Do you feel braver than before? Do you have a peace that makes no sense? Then hear this. You are standing on the edge of your breakthrough. And all you have to do is this. Don't give up. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He's preparing you. He's aligning everything. He's building your strength, because when the blessing arrives, you won't just survive it, you'll be fully ready to carry it.